Yeah, D, please prepare me a bowl of cereal.
Yep.
Good old cereal. When you walk down the cereal aisle as an adult, it is nowhere near as exciting as it was when you were a child. Is that because you have changed or because the cereals have? Maybe both? Here is the first part of a two-part list. 10 childhood cereals that you completely forgot about. Part 1.
Fine, cereal it is. Oh my gosh, there's a prize inside.
Banana Frosted Flakes.
There's always money in the banana stand.
From 1981 to 1984, there were Banana Frosted Flakes. Can you even imagine? Is this something that you had eaten or something you are hearing about now for the first time? This idea may sound a little funny, but if you think about it hard enough, you may realize that you have actually cut slices of real bananas into your cereal before, or seen someone else do it. Banana is a morning food, so is cereal. It only makes sense that they go together.
It's a match made in heaven.
The box for this cereal was also warm and sunny and very inspirational. The box gave off good morning vibes, to say the least. It portrayed the trusty and familiar Tony the Tiger holding a big bunch of bananas and wearing a straw hat. Did you know that if you have just one banana, it is called a finger? Many is a bunch and one is a finger. Bet you didn't know that. So now you know there were Banana Frosted Flakes and that one banana is called a finger. If this version of the cereal was brought back, would you give it a go?
Yes, I think I would.
Count Chocula.
Oh my God! Count Chocula!
When we think of friendly cartoon vampires today, we think about Adam Sandler voicing the vampire/hotel owner/father in the Hotel Transylvania movies.
This is how we're represented. Unbelievable.
Back in the day when this film franchise had not yet been created, when children thought about vampires, they thought about two things: Count Von Count from Sesame Street and Count Chocula. Count Chocula cereal was first released in March of 1971. Sesame Street first aired in 1969. They both began around the same time, and each offered children a vampire that was unlike any frightening Halloween version of a vampire. These vampires were kind and sweet. In fact, Count Chocula was literally sweet, as his cereal was chocolatey and even had marshmallow bits. Count Chocula cereal was actually part of a whole line of cereals called Monster cereals. The line was created by General Mills and also featured Frankenberry, a friendly Frankenstein monster, as well as Boo Berry, featuring, you guessed it, a friendly ghost monster. These monster mascots have a decidedly Tim Burton-esque design to them, being more charming than scary. Clearly, this charm worked, as all three of these monster cereals are still produced today, albeit on a seasonal basis. So go ahead and relive sugary, monstery goodness.
To quote Dr. Frankenstein, it's alive.
Dino Pebbles.
I'm telling you, I got a good feeling. Today could be my day.
The Flintstones were incredible. They were one of the first animated families to be brought into homes across America via the television. They were also the first animated series to hold a primetime slot. The show first aired in 1960 and only ran for 6 years. In those 6 years, 166 episodes of magic happened. And now many people still remember the Flintstones, the Rubbles, and the Great Gazoo. To celebrate this famous television program, there were cereals. There were actually many versions and varieties to choose from over the years, such as Cocoa Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles, and Bam Bam Pebbles, to name a few.
Bam Bam. That's an odd name.
Dino Pebbles were launched in the 80s, so the Flintstones were already retro then. What does that make them now? Ancient? Or maybe prehistoric? Dino Pebbles ran for about 10 years and then slowly drifted from the market as the cartoon did from programming. When we look back at this cereal, we are also looking back at a TV show, its characters, and the impact it had on our lives. Did any of you run home from school to watch the Flintstones? Would you watch it over lunch, Saturday morning? Dino Pebbles bring back an array of emotions and memories. This cereal is also fun because it features Dino, the family dog from the cartoon sitcom. He was happy, loving, and big and purple, kind of like Barney. Maybe Dino was the inspiration for Barney.
That's a terrific idea.
Strawberry Shortcake.
Open up, I brought strawberry shortcake and Cool Whip.
This next one is on the list of childhood cereals you completely forgot about because of the smell. Remember the artificial strawberry smell of the strawberry shortcake cereal? If you can't, you can probably imagine it. This cereal was a General Mills product and was first brought into the market in 1982. It featured the cutest little Strawberry Shortcake mascot. Did you know Strawberry Shortcake, the cartoon character, was first designed for greeting cards? The beloved character then made it into cereal.
That is amazing!
Everything that was popular in those times had a brief period on a cereal box. Cereal boxes were the best way to communicate with kids back then. They were the best way to give them both an edible product and a toy. It was a win-win. The child got something yummy and fun out of it, and the company gets the reoccurring revenue because the kid wants to buy more of the product so they can collect all the toys. Those were the easy days, the good old days. They were for cereal and for the promotion of characters, that's for sure. Today, we have so many popular characters that do not make it onto a cereal box. How sad that is.
I'm so disappointed.
C-3POs.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
2 crunches in every double O, said the commercial, as the classic Star Wars theme played in the background. 2 crunches. Why is that? Well, this cereal put 2 traditional O's together to create 2 O's, which looked a lot like a figure 8. C-3POs were a Kellogg's brand that obviously celebrated and advertised the C-3PO droid from Star Wars. The cereal was released in 1984, after the premiere of the 3rd Star Wars film from the original trilogy. These were super fun boxes to get if you were a cereal eater and a Star Wars fan, because you not only had the very satisfying 2 crunches in every double O, but you also had the chance of finding some collectibles. Some boxes had plastic Rebel rockets in them, others had stickers or trading cards. Some of the boxes even had masks on the back that you could cut out and wear. This was back in the day when children were not afraid to do some crafts and actually paid attention to their boxes of cereal.
No, I will not be quiet, Chewbacca. Why doesn't anyone listen to me?
This may be an overgeneralization, but the facts are the facts. Cereal boxes are not as cool for children as they once were. C-3POs had it all. They had the yummy and familiar cereal taste that is enhanced and made even better than it had been before. They had the recognizable characters. They had fun surprises in the boxes, and they had cool boxes. We miss you, C-3POs, and we only wish you or products like you were being released now, as Star Wars is being revamped. Hear that, Kellogg's? Bring this back, please.
Please, I'm begging you.
Oreo O's.
Oreos.
This cereal was basically just like Cheerios, but with Oreo-flavored O's. Oreo O's were made by Post Cereals from Post Consumer Brands. It launched in 1997 and had a very successful 10-year run before being discontinued in 2007. Spoiler alert, these were eventually brought back and are currently widely available and yet again successful. So the question remains, why were they ever discontinued in the first place? Why would a very good product and trusty brand name like Oreo stop making something that must have been profitable? Well, the answer is a political one.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Back in the day, Post Cereals and Kraft Foods had a deal. This deal allowed them to co-brand. In 2007, this co-branding stopped. This means that Post Cereals owned the rights to producing the cereal itself, while Kraft owned the copyrights to the name Oreo. Therefore, neither one of the companies could function and legally make and sell this product without the other's help and consent. Even in the cereal game, there are politics and rights and wrongs. It's not all happy morning music and rainbows. That is just for our kid fantasies and, well, the commercials.
That would be our dog Spot.
Bart Simpson Peanut Butter Chocolate Crunch.
Sorry, Pops. They don't put nobodies on cereal boxes.
If you watched The Simpsons as a kid, you ran to get to the television in time to see the couch bit. It was always different. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe you would run to get to the TV and be disappointed because you've seen it before. Maybe you had to hang up the phone with your friend, cutting them off. If you watched The Simpsons, you are also aware of Bart's prank calls to Moe's Tavern.
Hey guys, do I got a leaky bum? Come on, look at the stools.
You love Bart for his fun attitude and reckless behavior. You would have been one of the ones to eat the Bart Simpson cereal. It was a special edition cereal ran by Kellogg's, so there was never any intention of it staying on the market. The last time they ran a special edition Simpson cereal was in 2003, when they sold Bart Simpson's No Problemos and Eat My Shorts cereals in the UK. The Bart Simpson Peanut Butter Crunch was only on the market for a year, between 2001 and 2002. It is missed, and all eyes are on the shelves awaiting the next limited edition.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Cinnamon Mini Buns.
Is that what I think it is?
Yep. Cinnamon buns.
One big, hot, steamy cinnamon bun with icing on the top is truly delicious. How about 3 or 4 mini cinnamon buns on a spoon bathing in milk? They are crispy and crunchy and cinnamony too. Kellogg's Cinnamon Mini Buns brought the ever-delightful classic, the cinnamon bun, into cereal bowls, and we will never forget it. The bonus with having the cereal version, as opposed to the actual bun version, is the calories. When marketing this cereal, Kellogg's promised that eating 70 cinnamon buns can be nutritious.
I think I'll get a second opinion.
Taking today's standards into consideration, we know this is unlikely the truth. There is not a chance that the cereal resembled any of the nutritious competition now on the market. But back then, the sugar content was probably less than most of the brands out there. Cinnamon Mini Buns were first sold in 1991 and left very soon after in 1993.
I saved you a bite of my cinnamon bun.
French Toast Crunch.
That's my French toast. It's good.
For those who were not eating cinnamon mini buns but loved the taste of cinnamon, there was French Toast Crunch. It was like having tons and tons of cinnamon French toast in a bowl of cereal. Remember the picture on the box of the French toast slices being your cereal pieces? It was like you were eating loaves and loaves and loaves. This cereal does not need to be elaborated on because we all remember it like it was yesterday. It was just that good. So if you completely forgot about this cereal, now is the time for action. While it was discontinued in the US in 2006, it was brought back by popular demand in 2014.
Really? Oh, well, that's amazing news.
Get on out and grab yourself a box of French Toast Crunch and fill that bowl right to the top. Those tasty, crunchy bites of cinnamon and syrupy goodness will take you back in time, sitting on the floor with your big bowl of cereal, watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Do you know that your friends are cartoon characters? Yeah, so?
Tarts Crunch.
Pecans with a very pleasant crunch.
Okay, there is bad news and good news. The bad news is that this cereal was discontinued in 1995. But you already knew that. You have already mourned that loss. You have already gone through all the stages of grief and come out the other side. Now it is time for the good news. In 2018, the rumor mill started churning up about the possibility of Tarts Crunch making a comeback, and people got very excited.
Are the rumors true?
These remained as rumors for some time until, in January of 2019, it happened. Kellogg's re-released Tarts Crunch under the name Pop-Tarts Cereal and unleashed its deliciousness unto the world. Pop-Tarts cereal comes in the same 2 flavors as the original Pop-Tarts Crunch, which are strawberry and brown sugar cinnamon. There is also a cookies and cream flavor floating around that seems to be a bit harder to find. They were originally a Walmart exclusive, but now they can be found elsewhere, and the growing success is good news for those hoping they will add more flavors down the road. We're patiently waiting for the s'mores Pop-Tarts cereal, please.
You'll be sitting around a campfire with Andy making delicious hot schmoes.
Stick around and check out one of these other 4 videos. And if it's your first time here, show us some love and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.